Okay. All right. Ooh, hold on, y'all. Hold on. I got this mic on. I'm hoping. I love this mic. I tested this mic a little while ago. Hello, mic check, mic check. All right. Okay, that's better. That is better. So it's super early in the morning. I shouldn't be up, but yet I should be up. So I was surfing the internet. You guys, I couldn't sleep. I've been up for a while. Sometimes this happens. I have a little bit of problem sleeping at night, but y'all know I love. There's a YouTuber called Gossip Girl XOXO. I love her show, and she just uploaded a post about a 24-year-old woman that called in to 911 and said that she killed her 3-year-old baby. Now, hey Emmanuel, it's good to see you, sweetie pie. This is going to be a very short live, but it really made me think about some of the things that happen on social media. So, the young lady murdered her 3-year-old baby. Of course, that's deplorable, but I'm not here for judgment. The Most High will be her judge. I'm here to talk about dealing with things before bad things happen. And the thing about mental illness is and we could very well assume if you watch that video, if you go to Gossip Girl's channel and you watch that video, when she called into the 911, she was very calm. Um, I say all the time that I'm really blessed. I told my son, I tell him this almost all the time, but I told my son probably about just a couple days ago how blessed I am to be his mother, how grateful I am. Hey, Psycho Candy, how you doing, sweetie? It's good to see you. How grateful I am to have him as a child. My son is, oh my gosh, the greatest gift that I was ever given. And it was a hard road. I know I'm all over the place. I'm emotional because when I saw the video about the young lady, it brought me to tears. Y'all know I'm a softie. Let me just read what Psycho Candy says. Is I want to self debate at times. Oh, self delete, but I don't have the courage. No, well, listen. Never think that way. Never think that way. And to be honest with you, I can't say that most people have those thoughts, but I'll just tell you the truth. I've had those thoughts in the past. But before this show is over today, we're going to talk about some things to do to lessen those thoughts. We're going to get into it today, but I'm going to be as quick as I can. I think, y'all, anyway, I'm going to stop talking about my job, but I travel and so I have to hit the road in just a few hours anyway. But, and instead of me sleeping, like I said, I can never sleep. I just can't. So I'm going to probably go work out and then I'm going to hit the road. But let's deal with this. Let's deal with you guys for a second. I'm going to stop looking because there's so many important things I want to share with you on this live stream. But going back to my son, he was found to be on the autistic spectrum. Um, he was a late diagnosis. He was misdiagnosed. I went to the military. My son was 2 years old. When I left home, he was a normal, happy 2 year old baby. Um, as I was going through military training, his dad would call me. I would ask about, how's the baby? Now, this is before, we did have Skype, but often, if you guys have ever been through military training, they kind of limit your access, especially when you're in school. Um, you can make phone calls and stuff like that, but it's just, we just didn't have a whole lot back then. It wasn't like it is now, where you have all this stuff on your phone and stuff like that, where you can go back and forth. No, the most we had was Skype on the computer. But anyway, I would call, we would talk, and he would say, he told me he noticed some changes in my baby after vaccination. Now, this is not an anti-vaccination, but I'm just telling you what he said. And Uh, and then once they came down, they eventually came. I was stationed I was stationed a lot of places, but one of my first duty station was, I think at the time I was in San Antonio, and they came down for a few months, and I did notice some of the things, like we would go through our ABCs and stuff, and then we would do it together, and he would immediately say he forgot. And me being a new parent, I didn't understand. Well, how could you just forget? We just said it, not realizing his condition. Anyway, fast forward, he finally is diagnosed, and I'm just so grateful. Uh, and I tell him that every day, as often as I can. Now, how does this relate to what I'm talking about today? Well, there's all types of, um, I don't want to say mental illness, because autism is not, it's not a mental illness. I just want to say that, but it is a mental condition. And there's lots of us walking around with mental conditions. And I'm just going to talk to us real quick as Black folks. We don't like to talk about anything that has to deal with our mental state. We'll talk about some of everything else, but we don't like, I don't know what it is about us. We don't want to talk about health. We don't want to talk about we don't want to talk about death. We don't want to talk about our mental state. But guess what? We have to deal with it. Not talking about it is not going to make it better. And some of us don't even want to talk about finances. That's why we don't have two pennies to rub together, but we need to talk about these things. We have to. What happens? We wait to the last minute when it's too late. When it's too late. Like I said, I'm sure we'll hear about this story. And what's pissing me off, honestly, what we're going to hear about this story, if the Manosphere gets their hands on it, is, oh, another Black woman, blah, 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 blah. Not looking deeper into the situation. Because the fact is, there's plenty of people suffering from mental illness. It has nothing to do with race. We just happen to be the race that doesn't want to talk about anything. We don't want to talk about anything at all until after it's happened. Then we want to talk shit about the person that it's happened to. My heart bleeds for this situation, period, for just everybody involved. Um, Mental illness is real. And there's all kinds, and some of it's mild and some of it's extreme. Now this was an extreme case, but you have people with schizophrenia. They see, if you know anything about that, they might see something that's not there. They might think somebody's harming them that's not truly. They have hallucinations. Who knows what was going through her mind? I don't know. I wonder if she even knows that she has it. Did she even know that she has it? Did anybody around her even know that well, I'm not saying that she is that. Let me stop, because I'm not diagnosing anybody. What I'm trying to say, I wonder, before this situation happened, did anybody know of her mental state? That's what I'm trying to say. And the fact is, we all have a mental state. The question is, what's our grade? When's the last time we had a health check? And we all need a health check. We all go through things at times, and we got to check up on it. And when you notice things not right with people, you gotta try and help them before things happen. And then there's nothing we can do, and then we're all sitting around crying because now there's a deceased baby. Like I said, what's deplorable to me is what's going to happen, and how this is going to be, kind of made a mockery of. And I've heard some, and I'm not going to keep on saying this and harping on this, but this is one of the issues that I take issue with. I take issue. I'm gonna just be flat out sometimes with the manosphere. I do. I do. Because we could be reaching things on such a deeper level, but we insist on keeping these topics on minute, shallow type levels instead of digging in. You guys, I'm not looking at the chat, but I will look in a second. Thank you all for coming in. Thank you all. I appreciate you all. Please hit the like button and I will read your comments, but just bear with me. I got to get through this. We insist on looking at these things on a shallow level instead of digging into the deep issue. And the deep issue is that a lot of people are walking around with mental illness. And we all get ill at times. Don't we all get a cold? I don't know anybody on earth that's never had a cold. But sometimes we can't fix it ourselves. Sometimes we actually have to go into the doctor and get a prescription. We got to get medicine. We got to seek help. And it's the same way with our mental state. Now I'm going to go back to my son. I told y'all the reason that, for so many reasons, let me tell you something. His autism has made me just a better person, just a better human being. It's just made me see things in such see the world in a complete different way, see myself in a different way. When he was first diagnosed, I for a while I was in denial, and then because I could see how smart he clearly was. I mean, and right now he's a student. A lot of people, they just don't believe it. They don't want to. We understand that it's a spectrum, like it's a spectrum, and so you have people on one side and people on another side. But after he got diagnosed, I was able to work with people like him, but also other people with disabilities. And then I started at my pediatric job. It got out that, hey, she's pretty good with people with disabilities. She's really good with these patients. Assign these patients to her. And so more and more people started. I've had several people request me. They want me to work with their children. They want me only to work with their children on their teeth, and counsel them on health issues, diet and stuff like that. Because they like the way that I talk to them, the way that I treat them, and it just fills up my soul. But once he was diagnosed, we started going to therapy together as a family. And when I tell you, I learned so much about people in the mind, in the power of the mind. There's so much. Human beings use very little of their mind. I believe it's 10%. I believe that's it. That's the max, 10%. There's so much about mental health and mental uh, concerns, conditions that we do not know, that we do not understand. So much. But we need one thing, we just need to recognize things in ourselves and in each other that could help one another before something disastrous happens, like that young 24-year-old lady that killed a child. I am well aware that this will probably hit the space. If it does hit the space, I challenge people, if you're going to bring this up, talk about it on a deeper level. Just don't use this content to try and drag Black women. Y'all have been doing that enough, to be quite frank. I sat up here one day. I lied you. I've done it several times, and I'd literally go from live stream to live stream to live stream to live stream. Same old thing. Black women this, Black women that, Black women this, Black women that. Black women are violent. Black women are the worst mothers. Black women, you know, are unattractive. Black women are overweight. Blah 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 blah. But at the end of the day, y'all still fucking. Just stop. I'm begging you. Deal with something that's of substance, please, because this situation here is not, none of it, to be honest, is conclusive to us. It's not. You got a lot of people walking around with illness, and that's not an attribute to us. So please don't do that BS. That upsets me. And if you want to put out truly good content, you need to people need to we want to talk about accountability. People need to be accountable for their content and the type of stuff that they're putting out. They really do. And I've been saying it, and here we are. I just heard about it. I heard Sexy Red talking about it. Shout out to her. And I heard Reg the Bad Guy talking about it today. YouTube is cracking down on the language. Y'all pray for me because y'all know your girl. I go in. I got that military mouth, honey. I go in. But I'm gonna try and clean it up. But seriously, a lot of us been saying for a long time, we're gonna have to clean this up. We're gonna have to clean this up. So all these, not all of y'all, but some of y'all manosphere men that love to call black women four-letter words and this and that, y'all better clean it up. And the same thing with the women. You better clean it. You better clean up your content. But my thing is, why does somebody else? We always talk about white folks, but hey, why do they have to come and tell us to clean up our act? Why can't we just clean ourselves up? We know the shit ain't right. It's not right. Forgive me. See, I just did it. Some of the content is just not morally right. And when we try to call people out, call people to the carpet, oh, we're told that we're not truly being supportive, but we are being supportive. We want you guys to put out the best content possible, and ladies to put out the best content possible, which I know you're capable of. So now I'm going on a tangent. Welcome in, everybody. I will get to you guys. Please just bear with me. If I look at y'all, I'll get distracted. Um, but yeah, a lot of this, and we said it was coming, and it's here. So it started with the language, and it's gonna start with the hate speech. It's gonna start with the language, the hate speech, the degradation. You guys think you're gonna keep on getting away, and when I say guys, I'm talking about both because it comes from both sides in these spaces. You're not gonna be able to get away with it. You gotta clean your shit up, man. You gotta clean it up. I get it. It's good for views. It's good entertainment for a while. I'm sick of the shit. But I guess, for a while, it's good entertainment. But at what point do you really start getting serious about the information you're putting out here? Do better. Do better. Um, let me look at y'all. Oh my gosh, look. I didn't even see y'all in the building. So I saw you, Emmanuel. I see BMT. Hey, BMT. I see Sexy. Oh, she's here. I shouted you out, boo. I peeped in on you. Y'all, I'm not going to be long, but I just wanted to, and I will read your comment. Just give me a second. So, like, if you guys just came in, there's a YouTuber. I follow her. Her name is Gossip Girl XOXO. She did a story about a 24-year-old African American female who stabbed her 3-year-old baby. And no, I'm absolutely not making excuses for it. Absolutely not. But one thing I know is mental illness is real. And dragging her is not going to bring that baby back. But what could help prevent another baby from being killed is us talking about these issues before they happen. Before they happen. And if you watch the video, she called and calm. She said, I killed, literally in the same tone, I killed my 3-year-old daughter. That's how she said it. It was chilling how calm she was. She I'm not a doctor, but I'm almost willing to bet she had some kind of, probably, it seems like probably some type of schizophrenic episode where she, like I said, a lot of those people, they have hallucinations of people killing them and such and such. They see things that aren't there. She might have been having, there's something that people sometimes have. It's called intrusive thoughts. They're just very negative thoughts that will tell people to do things that they don't mean to do. There's all types of things that people suffer with, and they suffer alone because they're afraid to tell anybody. They're afraid and they're ashamed. And you know why? Because what we'll do, we'll get on the live stream and say, "Oh, this trash, this da 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 da." And I'm not, like I said, I'm not here to defend her, but there'll be another one Another story next month, and another one, and another one, and another one. So let's deal with it before it gets there. And oh, by the way, there was a story 3 weeks ago. And I'm just saying this to prove to you that mental illness has no barrier. That's why I'm telling you this story. There was a Caucasian female, a white woman, that used her child as a bullet. It went viral. I'm surprised. No, well, I'm not surprised because, like I said, some of the people in the manosphere have an agenda. If it's not a black woman, they're not going to talk about it. But it was a white woman. She used the police came at her with guns, and she used her child as a bullet protection. Like Lily held her 3-year-old son up in front of her. It was despicable. It was on the news. Nobody in this space talked about it, and I'm not surprised. You'll have a few people that put out information like that because they just, they see it for what it is. These are things we need to talk about. But a lot of these people, because they have an agenda, they won't talk about those things. It wasn't the black woman that did it. So my thing is, I don't give a damn about anybody's race. This is a topic that we need to talk about, and we need to do it before it happens. Now, let me read y'all comments. Emmanuel Briggs, he says, salute. What's up, BMT? What's up? Hey, Life of a Grandmaster Troll. I've been watching you too. I saw your last live stream. I came in at the end, but you ended it. Sexy. Psycho. Oh, I definitely want to read your comment, Psycho. And then I'll probably end it. And I'm sorry that this one is so short. This is a really good topic, y'all. Any of you guys, BMT, Sexy, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but I suspect that it might actually get out in the spare and people will will go in on this woman, and make it seem like we're all out here murdering our kids or some nonsense instead of dealing with the real issue. But I had to say this. There's people suffering, y'all, suffering in silence. Suffering in silence. So, like I said, I want to make it clear, autism is not a mental condition. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying through my experience, learning from my son's condition, it was almost like a calling. Then I got a interest in it. And then my interest led into passion at my job. And then people noticed how passionate I was about this. And then, I got moved into a department dealing. I work with people with special needs on a regular basis. I work with people with disorders. And I've had some of every type of patient. I've had patients, adult patients, that have had to be strapped down. I've been spit at. I've been called a nigger. Forgive me, but I've been called a nigger by special needs patients. And also our patients that have a mental issue. Um, I've dealt with them all. I don't want to get into it. I can't really say. I can't give. You know what I'm saying? But I've you name it, I've dealt with it. Patients that have been sexually abused, that that don't want to open their mouth. They don't want anybody in their mouth because they've had some kind of sexual abuse trauma as a child. You name it, I've seen it. I've seen it. And my heart goes out for the family, and it's just a horrible situation. It's a horrible situation. Uh, okay, so Psycho Candy, Emmanuel Briggs is talking to Psycho Candy. He says, Psycho Candy, we met each other where we were at, nurtured each other where we were at. We grow together and nurtured each other, and that's how healthy relationships work. Okay, that's good. BMT says, I just want to be held sometimes. Y'all are so crazy. Well, you know what I mean. Psycho Candy says, Emmanuel Briggs okay, but did the woman have the same love experience as herself these days? The certainty. Okay, I'm kind of late, y'all. Let me try and hurry up with it. Got a few years. Okay, you guys are having a conversation. I'm not going to do that. Um, it's nowhere near too late to coming into your dictate things. Okay, so you guys are just having a conversation. Let me scroll down and see your most recent comments, and then I'm probably going to bring it to a close. Hey, Red Wings. Okay, y'all. Hey, Leonardo. Yehuda. Y'all, I'm blind. I'm sorry. Hey, Daniel. Welcome. Let me just say this. First of all, I'm gonna do um, I'm gonna do a prayer because I'm about to hit this road, and I pray every morning when I get up, before I hit the road, before I do anything. I pray for my son, and and I hope you guys do too. Pray for your children before they leave the house. And this is a very simple prayer that I do. Of course, you have the Lord's prayer, but I also do an extended prayer, and I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna do it for myself, and I'm gonna do it for you all. So here we go. So you and just to let you know, you guys can do this. I feel I've been doing this for almost 40 years of my life. Dear Father in heaven, I ask that you look after me, my family, and friends. Um, I, I ask that I ask for forgiveness for any sins, anything that I have done against anybody, anything that I may do. I ask for forgiveness for. I ask for your grace. I ask that you look after my child when he leaves the house today. I ask that you look after all of my friends' children, my family's children, and let them be blessed under your sight and your protection and your provision. Give me the strength to deal with what the world hands me. Give me the strength to make it through. Give me the strength to make it home. Guide my decisions. Guide my every move. Protect me against evil out in the world. Protect me against the evil that may try to enter myself. Um, I ask that you walk with me. I ask that you keep me. And I'm sorry, y'all. This is so, I'm still shook about that story. Um, but most importantly, I ask that you protect me from all evil, from outside and from within. Amen. And the reason I say that prayer, you guys, is because I learned this a long time ago, and I've actually seen it in action. I did a show about this several years ago about learning to recognize evil. The devil is busy, honey. I'm going to keep this short and sweet, but the devil is busy. And he walks the earth to and fro. That's what the Bible says, and it's true. We are spiritual spiritual beings. We inhabit this body for a short period of time, and just like you have good spirits, you have evil ones that walk amongst us. And what happens is I believe that sometimes these with our socializing and being amongst each other, some of these bad spirits jump into us. I honestly believe that. I've done shows on this. I'll give you an example. Say you, let me use somebody who's here. I see Emmanuel Briggs, okay? Me and Emmanuel Briggs are having a conversation, and Emmanuel Briggs tells me, he says, Mahogany, I think I'm going to go to medical school. Now, all this time, I've been Emmanuel Briggs's friend, and I've always been supportive. But so, for some weird reason, I have an attitude today. For some weird reason, I tell Emmanuel Briggs, I start laughing, and I say, medical school. Well, good luck with that. When you get through with medical school, please tell me what hospital you're working for so I won't go there. Ha 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 ha. Now, I've just said a really wicked thing, and maybe I didn't mean it, but I've hurt Emmanuel because, I've hurt him without even realizing it. And so that's an example of the devil using you. Don't let the devil use you. Don't let him be your playground. And be able to recognize Emmanuel, all of you, be able to recognize when when Satan has jumped into somebody, because I do believe in that. I do believe that spirits are amongst us and they walk to and fro. So you say that prayer and you protect yourself against that type of stuff. All right. All right. Well, I hope this wasn't too boring, but I had to do this. I hope you guys have a good morning. Drive safely and be careful and be blessed. Okay. And happy New Year's, everybody. Thank you so much. If you guys are just coming in, just check it out from the beginning. It's a pretty sad story. Um, I'm just trying to make sure before I go that I that I explained everything the best way I could. Yes, but it was the journey of my son's diagnosis that I started to learn and be more interested in dealing with people with all kinds of conditions. And like I said, some are minor and some are major. Some are minor and some are major. And I will say this about conditions: some conditions, certain conditions, come with other conditions. For instance, I'll use autism because I'm actually a spokesperson for autistic people. So one condition of autism is that they tend to be, they can, you have to be careful because they can suffer from depression. And the reason are people with disabilities, different types of disabilities can suffer them from depression. And one reason is the isolation. Because let's say your child is in a public school. Guess what? There's a chance that they might be teased because they're a little different. They might have a tick, that kids notice is different, right? And you know how kids are, they'll pick on other kids that are different. And so now there's this isolation factor that's been happening and that's been going unchecked. And so now you're dealing with a kid that you have to watch because they might be showing signs of depression. Let me just tell y'all this, then I promise I will shut up. Talk to your children every day. See where they are. See where they are. And also teach your children something that I think that we don't do enough is I've heard a lot of parents say in pediatrics, oh, it's almost like the kids will be kids, boys will be boys. No, 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 no. There's a right and there's a wrong. When there's a child in the classroom that might be different, that might have a disability, whatever it is, I don't care what it is. We had a student, I think in high school, he was quadriplegic. And for the most part, the kids were very, 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 very accepting and loving to him. But that was because our teacher enforced that environment. She wasn't putting up with nobody teasing him. She wasn't putting with nobody saying nothing stupid to him. And I believe the story goes that he was actually shot, and that's why in a drive-by shooting, and that's why he was a quadriplegic. That's what I heard. But yeah, don't if don't let your children teach your children to do better, to not tease, to not make fun of, to get to know people, to not isolate folks because they're different. Teach your kids to be good people. And maybe, maybe we can make this world a better world. As corny as that sounds, maybe we can. But we have to teach our children. Anyway, y'all be safe and have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys soon on these YouTube streets. Peace.